So if you like the styling of the factory lighting but wish they brought a little bit more to the table, these Pro Series projector headlights with the chrome housing and the clear lenses will be a set to check out for your 2011 to 2016 F-250 Super Duty. Now this will be an affordable choice for headlights if you're looking to keep the classic OE look but upgrade the lighting performance, add a touch of style with the daytime running light, and overall just get a more modernized look for the front end. Now these headlights will feature projector lenses with H7 series halogen bulbs for both the high beam and the low beam, which will create a very consistent beam pattern for better visibility at night if you're currently struggling with that. These will also feature a large center cutout for your turn signal, but what I really like about this choice is the LED daytime running light that surrounds the lighting on the inside. That's going to have a switchback feature that will illuminate amber whenever your turn signal is actuated, giving you a little bit of extra styling. Not only will these look good, but these will also be tough for wherever you're taking your truck. With an impact-resistant polycarbonate lens on the front, you're getting a very rigid polypropylene housing as well here. Now this set will even meet DOT standards, so you can have some peace of mind when adding these to your build. Now when it comes to price, these are going to come in at roughly $600, which isn't bad at all for a new set of upgraded headlights. Now when comparing these to some other choices, I do like the fact that this keeps the classic look, but still offers a little bit more even when comparing to some other choices, considering that this is going to have that switchback function on the daytime running light. Now, if you do take a look at some of the pricier choices, you will usually see some extra bells and whistles like a full LED setup or even a completely plug-and-play setup, as to where this is going to have halogens and require a little bit of wiring. Now, I personally think if you're willing to compromise a little while still getting some good lighting performance and a totally refreshed look to the front end of your Super Duty, then this is going to be a great choice. Now when it comes to install, I did mention that this will require some minor wiring, so I am going to give it a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour or so to get the job done with some basic hand tools, and one of our guys in the shop is going to show you what that process looks like step by step. So that wraps it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need a ratchet, 1/4 inch to 3/8 adapter if needed, an extension, 10mm socket, long flathead screwdriver, wire strippers and crimpers, needle nose pliers or a fuse puller, a fuse tap with butt connector on the end, male and female spade connectors, and some wire. What's up guys? Today we're going to be installing some headlights on our F-250, so let's get started. So now that we have our hood popped, our first step is going to be to remove our grille, and to do that we're going to remove the 4 10mm screws holding the top of the grille in place using our 10mm socket on our ratchet. And once we have that done, we can go ahead and pull back on our grill a little bit. And it has tabs down at the bottom that you may need to use a long flathead to kind of push down on the tab to get it to release out of its slot. So we have the top of our grill pulled back to show, and we're going to use our flathead to go ahead and push down on our tab a little just to get that to release. And once you have that released, the rest should pull out, but you can do the same thing for the rest of the tabs. And then your grill should just pop right out. So now we can go ahead and lift our grill up out of place and set that aside. So now we can go ahead and remove our bottom 10mm screw on our headlight and our 2 middle ones. And then for this top one, all you have to do is loosen it because it will be slotted just to set it in place. So we'll go ahead and loosen this one first. We'll go ahead and remove our 2 middle ones. Now ours does not have the bottom 10mm screw due to previous removals and installation, but factory you should have a 10mm about right in the middle of your headlight, and you can go ahead and reach that again with your 10mm and your ratchet. So next we can go ahead and grab a hold of our headlight, and you want to grab by this top outer edge here because it does have a locator tab up top, and we'll just go ahead and pull that right out of place. And then we can go ahead in here and unplug our connectors to our headlight. and remove our factory unit. And once you have this done on this side, you can go ahead and repeat the process for the other side. So for this set of headlights, it does come with an LED adapter harness, to which we are going to have to do some light modifications as we are working on our gas-powered F-250. If you're working on your diesel F-250, you will not need to do this, as the fuse box and battery are located on the driver's side. But for gas-powered, ours is located on the passenger side, so we need the wire to reach to the driver's side fuse panel. So what we're gonna need is a male spade connector, as well as a female, as well as a butt connector and a fuse tap. All of these are available at your local auto parts store for very cheap, but you will need those to access full functionality of this set of headlights. So to extend the gray wire that we need to reach across to our fuse panel, we're going to go ahead and crimp on our male side connector here. Just give that a few good crimps, just to make sure it has a good connection using your wire stripper and crimpers. And once you have that crimped on, you want to just give it a little tug just to make sure it has a good connection. And if you need to go back and squeeze on it a little bit more, you can. Okay, now that we have that side done, we're going to take our additional wire that you will also need, again available at your local auto parts store, very cheap. Go ahead and strip an end off here. And to this side, we will add our female connector. So maybe a good idea to give your wiring a little bit of a twist so it goes into the connector a little bit easier. And make sure that wire is good and seated. And then again, go ahead and crimp your connector on. Give it a little tug just to make sure it's nice and secure. So then we can go ahead and plug these two sides in. So now we have our harness extended. Then to the other end of our wire here, we're going to add our butt connector that will attach to our fuse tap. So once again, we'll strip off our end. Just give it a slight little twist. Nothing crazy, just allows it to go into the connector easier. Make sure that it gets nice and seated. And then we'll crimp this end on. Just good enough to hold it for now. Now we can grab our fuse tap. Now a lot of times these will come with a butt connector crimped onto this end. In our case, we didn't have one, so we'll just go ahead and add our butt connector on. And again, we'll go ahead and insert this. We'll go ahead and crimp this side. And give both sides a little tug just to make sure you have a good connection. Now these are heat shrink bug connectors, so if you want to heat shrink them down and give them a nice seal around, you can do that with a heat gun or even a lighter or something like that. Just give it a few nice little passes with any kind of heat and they will shrink up to your wire. So now that we have our harness extended, we can go ahead and move on to the truck and get this part installed. So now we have our harness ready to install into the truck. So now we're going to come to our battery. And we're going to start with our positive terminal here. We're going to use our 10mm socket on our ratchet to just loosen up our terminal nut. Just enough to slide our connector underneath the nut. Seat that in. And then we'll go ahead and tighten that right back down. We can come to our negative terminal and do the same thing. And get that seated and tighten it right back down. So now we come to our driver's side fuse box. Go ahead and pop the lid off. And we are looking for fuse number 50. So that's 2 away from our relay here, which should be this 10 amp fuse right here. So we'll use our needle nose or fuse puller if you have it. Go ahead and just pop that right out. We can install our fuse into our fuse tab here. Make sure that's seated nicely. Then we'll go ahead and place our fuse tab right back in to where fuse 50 was. That goes in nice and tight. And pop our fuse cover back on. So now we can route the rest of our wiring down to where our headlights are. So we'll drop down our passenger side right there. And we'll route our driver's side over here. And tuck it down into our opening. So then we'll be able to plug it into our new headlight. So before we can go onto the truck with our new headlights, we're going to need to swap over a few things from our factory housing. So we'll come up here to the back of our headlight, and the first thing is going to be our marker bulb socket. So we're going to go ahead and give that a quarter turn counterclockwise to release it, as well as our turn signal socket. Again, quarter turn counterclockwise, and it comes right out. Now for the turn signal, we're going to leave the bulb in. That's a direct swap over. And for our marker bulb, we're actually going to remove the bulb from the socket. We're going to come to our new unit here, and we can go ahead and insert our turn signal socket right into place and give that a quarter turn clockwise, and that'll go ahead and set it. Now for our marker bulb, where we removed our factory bulb, we're going to plug in this LED connector. And it can be a bit stiff at first. Just give it a good push, and that should seat down nicely. And we can go ahead and tuck our wiring back in and seat our marker bulb socket again with a quarter turn clockwise. So once we have all that done, we can go ahead and do the same thing for the other headlight, and then we're ready to move on to the truck. So now we're going to go ahead and make all of our connections, and we're going to start with our white wire and male end of our bullet connector to go into the female side of our harness. Go ahead and get that in place. And then we can go ahead and take our female end of our conversion harness and plug that directly into our turn signal bulb here. And take the male end and go into your factory end of your turn signal bulb here. And then we'll get our other connector here, our black one. And lastly, we can connect our marker light socket. There we go. And once we have all those connected, we can go ahead and set our headlight in place, and it does have these locators here at the upper right to go in these slots. We'll go ahead and slide that in. Go ahead and set that. And we can go ahead and put our two 10mm screws back in our middle brackets here, using our 10mm socket and our ratchet. And then you would want to go ahead and put your bottom 10mm screw in. Again, ours does not have it due to previous modifications. And then once you have that in, we can come to the top here and tighten down our last 10mm screw. And once you have your other 3 screws in place, we can come up top here and tighten down our last 10mm screw. And once you have this complete on this side, you can go ahead and repeat this process for your other headlight. Now we can go ahead and reinstall our grille. So we'll just line this up with our bottom mounting tabs here. Slide that into place and clip our tabs back in on the bottom. And once we have that done, we can go ahead and reinstall our 4 10mm screws at the top of our grill using our 10mm socket and ratchet. Then once you have this done, you can go ahead and clean up your wiring for your harness however you'd like to make it your own. Zip tie it up out of the way, just make sure it's out of the way of any hot, rotating parts or anything like that, just to make sure there's no damage to your harness. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our Pro Series projector headlights and chrome housing with clear lenses for your 11 to 16 F250 Super Duty. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F250, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.